Hello everyone. So in carbohydrates part 1 lecture we have discussed about what are carbohydrates, what are the properties of carbohydrates, next what is the classification of carbohydrates based on reducing and non-reducing activity. So those are reducing sugars and non-reducing sugars, and then classification based on number of molecules, that is monosaccharides, oligosaccharides and polysaccharides. After that we have discussed about the preparation methods of glucose from various sources, and then open chain structure of glucose, that is structural elucidation of glucose based on different kind of reactions. So in this carbohydrates part 2 we are going to discuss about cyclic structure of glucose and open chain structure of fructose and cyclic structure of fructose. So let us move to the topic. So evidences for the cyclic structure of glucose, right? So as we have discussed earlier, glucose is having a open chain structure that we have confirmed through different kind of tests in part 1 lecture, right? So here along with open chain structure, glucose is having a another structure, that is a cyclic structure, right? So what are the evidences for the cyclic structure of glucose? So glucose is having a free aldehyde group at first carbon, that is C double bond OH group is present at first carbon. So as it is having a free aldehyde group, it has to show some properties, right? But as per the observation, though it is having a free aldehyde group, so it is not showing some properties, so that it confirms that there is no that free aldehyde group is not present. So aldehyde is involved in some way which in a cyclic manner, so that as free aldehyde group is not available, hence we may confirm that glucose will have a cyclic structure, right? So what are the demerits of open chain structure? So as glucose is having free aldehyde group at first carbon, it has to react with ammonia, but as per the observation it is not reacting with ammonia, right? And glucose does not react with sodium bisulfate, that is NaHSO3, right? And glucose is not reacting with Schiff's reagent. Glucose, though it is having a free aldehyde group, it is not reacting with Schiff's reagent. What is Schiff's reagent? Schiff's reagent is a product formed in dye formulation reaction between sodium bisulfite and fuchsin. So it is a product of dye formulation reaction between the sodium bisulfite and fuchsin, right? This is Schiff's reagent. So glucose is not showing any action with Schiff's reagent, and glucose open chain structure is not explaining mutarotation. Glucose open chain structure is not explaining mutarotation. So just observe the open chain structure of glucose. So it is having free aldehyde group, but it is as per the observation, it is not reacting with sodium bisulfate, and it is not reacting with ammonia, and it is not showing any action with Schiff's reagent, and it is not explaining about mutarotation. So that we can confirm that this aldehyde group is not available as a free group, means which is involved in some cyclic process, cyclic compound formation, right? So that's why the free aldehyde group is not available, so that it is not reacting with ammonia, NaHSO3 and Schiff's reagent, right? So all these demerits indicates that glucose is having a cyclic structure, right? So as glucose aldehyde is not free, right? So NH3, NaHSO3 and Schiff's reagents are weak carbonyl reagents, so that ring breakage does not takes place. So that's why the cyclic structure of glucose is not reacting with this NH3, NaHSO3 and Schiff's reagent, right? And mutarotation, what is mutarotation? So mutarotation is not explained by the open chain structure, right? So but as per the observation, glucose is showing mutarotation. So what is mutarotation, right? So glucose is crystallized from two different process. So one is hot water crystallization, right? So the second one is evaporation crystallization. So glucose recrystallized from the hot water which is melting at 140 degrees centigrade, and this solution of glucose is having a specific rotation of 112.2 degrees, right? So glucose which is recrystallized from the hot water which is melting at 140 degrees centigrade and which show a specific rotation of plus 112.2 degrees, right? So this value gradually decreases and reached a final constant value is plus 52.7 degrees. So this 112.2 degrees will gradually decreases and reached a final constant value, that is plus 52.7 degrees, right? And if you observe the other crystals of glucose which are obtained from the evaporation process, those crystals melts at 98 degrees centigrade, and this solution show specific rotation is at plus 18.7 degrees, right? So the glucose crystallized from evaporating method melts at 98 degrees centigrade and shows optical specific rotation at plus 18.7 degrees, right? And here this value gradually increased and then get a final constant value at 52.7 degrees, right? So here as the time changes, the specific rotation of glucose is changing. So one is from 112.22 degrees to plus 52.7 degrees, and the second one from 18.7 degrees to 52.7 degrees. So this type of change in specific rotation with time is called as mutarotation. Change in specific rotation with respect to time is called as mutarotation. So this mutarotation is not explained by open chain structure of glucose. So that this is also one of the confirmation for the existence of cyclic structure of glucose, right? So which type of groups or the compounds show mutarotation? So the compounds, the molecules which are in hemiacetal or hemiketal group having all carbohydrates exhibit mutarotation. Hemiacetal or hemiketal group having all carbohydrate isomers exhibit mutarotation, right? So what is hemiacetal or hemiketal? Just observe here, this is a carbonyl compound. For example, if it is a aldehyde, so when this aldehyde is reacting with a alcohol, that is ROH. So now what will happen? This as O is having electron pair, so this will attack at carbonyl carbon, right? And then that OR is bonded with carbonyl. This OR is bonded with carbonyl carbon like this, and this O will get minus charge, and that carbonyl oxygen will get minus charge and will take the hydrogen from alcohol, so that it will be converted into OH, right? So this is called hemiacetal. If it is ketone, that is hemiketol. If it is ketone, that is hemiketol, right? And further, if it is reacting with another alcohol group, then this OH is replaced. This OH is replaced by OR. This OH is replaced by OR. So here, as previously it is having a OR group and one more OR group, that is alkoxide group is added at OH group, so that two OR groups are there in a particular compound. So this is called acetal. This is acetal. This is acetal, right? So now, this is hemiacetal and this is acetal, right? So when carbonyl compound, if it is aldehyde, you get hemiacetal with one alcohol group reaction, and if two molecules of alcohols are reacted, we will get acetal. If it is ketone, then with one alcohol group you will get hemiketol, and with two alcohol molecules you will get ketol, right? So only the compound, the carbohydrate isomers which are having hemiacetal or hemiketal group, those only show mutarotation, and acetal or ketol forms will not show the mutarotation, right. So based on all these reactions and based on all these tests from mutarotation, from negative reaction with ammonia and sodium bisulfate and Schiff's reagent, so we may confirm that glucose is having a cyclic structure, right. So that cyclic structure is having two types of cyclic structures are possible for the glucose. So just observe here. So this is the open chain structure of glucose. So as we have discussed earlier, right. So in this, the free aldehyde group at first carbon, and this is OH second carbon, OH left side at third carbon, OH, OH and CH2 OH. So this is the open chain structure, right. So here now what will happen here, the first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, fifth carbon, right. The OH group at fifth carbon, OH group at fifth carbon is reacting with the aldehyde group at first carbon, the aldehyde group at first carbon. So now what will happen, this is a alcohol and this is a aldehyde, so that you will be getting a hemiacetal kind of structure, hemiacetal kind of structure is formed, right. So here this OH is reacting with this double bond O, then this O will get minus charge, and that O will be taking this hydrogen and taking this hydrogen and will be converted to OH, right. And there is a bond formation between this oxygen and the first carbon, that is nothing but aldehyde carbon, right. So just observe here, and in this, so the first carbon, as the first carbon aldehyde oxygen is converted to OH group, so that OH would be maybe at right side or maybe at left side, right. So here this carbon is getting a asymmetric center, so that OH based on OH group, if it is right side, that will give one isomer, that is one kind of cyclic structure is there, and if it is left side, another kind of cyclic structure is there, right. So here there are two possibilities, so that's why glucose is showing two cyclic structures, right. So just observe here, so this OH is reacting with this aldehyde carbon, then there is a bond formation between oxygen and carbon, and this O will become OH, right. So just observe here the first carbon OH is at right side, and then the first carbon is bonded with fifth carbon oxygen, this is the fifth carbon oxygen, right. So that we will be getting a cyclic structure here. So this is called alpha D-glucopyranose, this is in hemiacetal form, this is called alpha D-glucopyranose, and this is in hemiacetal form. This shows the specific rotation at 112.2 degrees, this shows the specific rotation at 112.2 degrees, right. And here if it is the OH group is at left side, that is beta D-glucopyranose, this is also in hemiacetal form, and this shows the specific rotation at 18.7 degrees, right. So this 18.7 degrees gradually increases and you will get a constant value at 52.7 degrees, and here the alpha D-glucopyranose is showing plus 112.2 degrees, and this gradually decreases and will get a constant value at plus 52.7 degrees, right. So these are the two cyclic structures of glucose formed here. So why we are calling it as a pyranose? So pyranose is for 6 membered ring, right. This is first carbon, second carbon, third, fourth, fifth carbon and one oxygen, right. So here the ring formation takes place in between the first carbon and fifth carbon oxygen, so that 5 carbons and one oxygen is there. So means a 6 membered ring is formed, so that's why these are called pyranoses, There is one is alpha D-glucopyranose if the OH group is at right side, right. If the OH group is at left side, that is beta D-glucopyranose. glucopyranose. So these two are the cyclic structures of glucose which can exhibit a different kind of specific rotation and which are differ at C1 carbon. Their configuration is differ at C1 carbon. Now we will see what is a acetal form of pyranose. So this is a alpha D glucopyranose, just as an example, right. So when it is reacted with another alcohol group, so that this OH will be replaced with CH3O minus, that is methoxide. So OH group would be replaced with methoxide group. So this is called alpha D glucopyranoside. This is alpha D glucopyranoside. So this is in the acetal form. This is in the acetal form. So acetal form of glucose will not show the mutarotation. Will not show the mutarotation. Right. So this is the formation of pyranoside when it is reacted with the alcohol. So we have discussed the two cyclic structures of glucose. The first one is alpha D glucopyranose, and which it is consisting of OH group is at right side at first carbon, and remaining all carbons would be similar like open chain structure, right. So for that writing different pyranose structures of cyclic structures, right. This is alpha D glucopyranose, right. This is called writing this line structure is called Fischer structure. Writing this line types of structure is called Fischer structure, right. So if we rotate this vertically towards right side 90 degrees, so we will be getting another kind of structure, that is called Haworth structure. Rotating the Fischer structure towards right side about 90 degrees will get Haworth structure. Now what will happen in Haworth structure? Whatever the groups which are on right side, which are at right side, will be in downward direction, and which are at left side will be in upward direction. Will be in upward direction, right. Just observe here. This is first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, fifth carbon, sixth carbon, right. So there is a bond formation between the fifth carbon oxygen and first carbon, right. So here if you observe here at first carbon, as OH is right side, that OH is towards the downward direction. So similarly like all groups, because we are rotating towards the right side direction about 90 degrees. So automatically all the groups which are on the right side will be downward direction, and which are on left side would be upward direction, right. So this is the Haworth structure of alpha D glucopyranose. Yeah. The next one is Haworth structure of beta D glucopyranose. Haworth structure of beta D glucopyranose. This is also similar. Again we are rotating the structure of beta D glucopyranose, Fischer structure of beta D glucopyranose about 90 degrees automatically. So that we will be getting Haworth structure of beta D glucopyranose. So in this also all the groups which are on right side direction will be getting downward direction, which are on left side will be having upward direction, will be on upward direction, right. So this is the Haworth structure of beta D glucopyranose. So as we know that 6-membered ring, when a 6-membered ring is there, this Fischer structure and Haworth structure are less stable, and the chair conformation is the more stable structure of 6-membered ring. So now we will see the chain conformation of alpha D glucopyranose and beta D glucopyranose. So first one is chain conformations of alpha D glucopyranose. So this is the Haworth structure. The same thing is written as a chair. This is oxygen. This is the first carbon. So this is a structure of our structure: first carbon, second carbon, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth carbon, right. So the same thing we are writing as a chair form. This is oxygen, first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, and fifth carbon, right. So here, so in the case of alpha D glucopyranose, So here this OH is an axial position, and remaining at all carbons, so all the groups, all the OH groups and CH2OH groups are in equatorial position. So except at C1 carbon, remaining all carbons, the groups are in equatorial position, and here at C1 group, the OH group, that is a bulky group, is on axial position. So this is the chair structure of alpha D-glucopyranose. So now we will see the chair conformation of beta D-glucopyranose. So here the similar kind of thing, this is the Haworth structure, the first carbon, second carbon, third, fourth, fifth and then sixth, and here also we are writing the same thing as a chair structure, right. So this is oxygen, first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, fifth carbon, and this is the sixth carbon, of course, right. Yeah. So here in this beta D-glucopyranose chair conformation, all the groups which are on equatorial position, that is all the bulky groups, this is OH is equatorial position, OH is equatorial position, OH is equatorial position, OH is equatorial position, and CH2OH is also in equatorial position, right. So here this beta D-glucopyranose is consisting of all the bulky groups at equatorial position, so that the stability would be more when compared to the alpha D-glucopyranose, right. So in chair structure, if a group is present at equatorial position, the stability of that particular structure would be more when compared with axial position, right. So in the case of chair conformations of alpha D-glucopyranose and beta D-glucopyranose, in beta D-glucopyranose all the bulky groups are present at equatorial position, and in the alpha D-glucopyranose all the groups are there at equatorial position, but at C1 the OH group is on axial position. So that's why the stability of beta D-glucopyranose is more than alpha D-glucopyranose. So just observe, here I am writing all the structures at one place. This is the cyclic structure of alpha D-glucopyranose, nothing but Fischer structure, right. So this rotating 90 degrees towards right side direction will give Haworth structure, In the Haworth structure, all the groups at right side will get a downward direction, all the groups at left side will get upward direction, right. So here the same thing is written as a chair conformation, the same thing, all the carbons will have bulky groups at equatorial position, and at first carbon the OH group, as the OH group is at here, is at right side, so that you will be getting at axial position. So this is the different kind of cyclic structures conformations of alpha D-glucopyranose: Fischer structure, Haworth structure and chair conformation. The next one is beta D-glucopyranose, and this is the Fischer structure. So this is the OH group at first carbon is at left side, and when rotating 90 degrees towards right side direction will have Haworth structure, the same thing in Haworth structure. So whatever the groups which are on right side will get downward direction, and which are on left side will get upward direction, right. And the same Haworth structure is represented as a chair conformation. So chair conformation is having all the groups at equatorial position, right. So at first carbon OH group at equatorial position, second carbon equatorial position, third carbon equatorial position, fourth carbon equatorial position, and fifth carbon also CH2OH is in equatorial position. So in beta D-glucopyranose structures, all the bulky groups are present in equatorial position. So that's why the chair conformation of beta D-glucopyranose is more stable than alpha D-glucopyranose, right. So this is what about the cyclic structure of glucose and different forms of cyclic structures of glucose. So that Fischer structure, Haworth structure and chain conformations of alpha D-glucopyranose and beta D-glucopyranose. Now we will discuss about fructose, right. So here the first thing we would like to discuss about the preparation methods of fructose, right? As we know, this sucrose, that is C12H22O11. So when sucrose is hydrolyzed, we'll get D plus glucose and D minus fructose, D plus glucose and D minus fructose, right? And the next one is raffinose. Raffinose is a triose which is consisting of three different kind of monosaccharides. So when raffinose is hydrolyzed and then it is converted to fructose, glucose and galactose. So it is hydrolyzed, it will be divided into three carbohydrate molecules, that is fructose, glucose and galactose. So that here fructose is prepared. And inulin is a polymer of fructose. So when it is hydrolyzed, then we will get N molecules of fructose molecules, N fructose molecules. So these are the preparation methods of fructose. Now we will see structural elucidation of fructose or open chain structure elucidation of fructose. So this is also similar to the glucose structural elucidation, because there are some similar kind of reactions are there. Based on that only we will identify the how the open chain structure of fructose would be there, right? So now we will discuss this, right? So here the molecular formula of fructose is this, that is C6H12O6. Now the carbons and hydrogens ratio is 1:2 here. So this is indicating that, means the carbons hydrogens ratio is 1:2, so that the fructose may be a alicyclic or aliphatic compound and not an aromatic compound. So that we can identify that this is a aliphatic or alicyclic compound but not an aromatic compound. The next one is a reaction with hydroxylamine. So when fructose is reacted with hydroxylamine, that is NH2OH, so that we will be getting an oxime. The product of this is an oxime. So it means as the oxime formation is takes place, hence fructose is consisting of a carbonyl group, that is C double bond O group is there, because C double bond O group only forms the oxime with hydroxylamine. So that's why it indicates that carbonyl group is present in the fructose. And here reaction with HCN, the same thing, when fructose is reacted with HCN, we will be getting cyanohydrin. So cyanohydrin is also an indication of presence of carbonyl group in the fructose molecule, right? So here the next thing is fructose when oxidation with bromine water, there is no reaction. So means fructose is not oxidized with the bromine water. So this indicating that, so there is no aldehyde group which is present in the fructose. So because bromine water can oxidize aldehyde group only, it will not oxidize the ketone group. So as the bromine water is not oxidizing fructose, means there is no reaction with the bromine water to the fructose. So this is indicating that, so there is no C double bond OH, that is aldehyde group is present in fructose. So these two things, that is formation of cyanohydrin and no reaction with bromine water, can confirm that though aldehyde group is not present in the fructose, so hence automatically the group which is present in the fructose would be keto group, that is C double bond O group only is present in the fructose. Now reaction with HI and red phosphorus. So when fructose is reduced with HI and red phosphorus, it forms N-hexane. That is CH3, CH2, 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 CH3. So it means, so as the hexane is forming here, so all the carbon atoms are in the straight chain form. So this, through this reaction we can confirm that all the carbons are in the open chain structure or a straight chain form in the fructose, right? The next one is reaction with acetic anhydride. So when fructose is reacted with AC2O, that is acetic anhydride, so you will be getting a pentaacetyl derivative and 5 moles of acetic acid. This is 5 moles of acetic acid is there, right? So as this is forming pentaacetyl derivative and 5 moles of acetic acid, hence we can confirm that there are 5 OH groups are present in the fructose. 5 OH groups are present in the fructose. Next is reaction with PCl5. So when fructose is reacted with PCl5, then we will be getting pentachloro derivative. So it is also indication of 5 OH groups present in the fructose. The next one is reaction with HCN, hydrogen cyanide. So when fructose is reacting with hydrogen cyanide, we will be getting cyanohydrin. So when this cyanohydrin is undergoing for hydrolysis, and this CN, that cyanide group, so when the cyanohydrin undergoing for hydrolysis, the CN group will be converted into COOH group. So that CN is converted to COOH group, so that we will be getting a carboxylic acid, right? So when it is reduced with HI and red phosphorus, when it is reduced with HY and red phosphorus, we will be getting 2-methyl hexanoic acid. 2-methyl hexanoic acid. So this is indicating that there is a C double bond O group, keto group is present in the second carbon, at second carbon, because as the 2-methyl hexanoic acid is forming when it is reduced with HI and red phosphorus, automatically the first carbon is CH3 and the free carbonyl group, the carbonyl group is present at second carbon. So when a carbonyl group is present at second carbon, automatically it's a keto group, it's a keto group. So keto group is present in the fructose. So next one is a reaction with concentrated NH3, concentrated HNO3. So when fructose is reacting with concentrated HNO3, so then it forms a glycolic acid, that is COOH and tartaric acid and trihydroxyglutaric acid. So as this is forming glycolic acid and tartaric acid, so we can confirm that so there is a CH2OH and C double bond O structure is present in the fructose, right? So because HNO3 is a strong oxidizing agent, so that ring breakage also takes place, chain breakage also takes place with a concentrated NHO3. As we are getting glycolic acid, it means so there is a CH2OH and C double bond O unit is present in the fructose. So based on all these reactions, so that is reaction with acetic anhydride, which is confirmed 5 OH groups are present, and reaction with PCl5 also confirmed 5 OH groups are present in fructose, and reaction with hydrogen cyanide and reaction with hydroxylamine confirmed that C double bond O group is present, right? And reaction with HNO3 confirmed that C double bond O group is at present at second carbon. So from all these evidences, right, so we can write the open chain structure of fructose in this manner. So that is CH2OH at first carbon, second carbon C double bond O, third carbon CHOH, fourth carbon CHOH, fifth carbon CHOH and sixth carbon CH2OH. So this is the open chain structure of fructose, open chain structure of fructose. Here this is a D minus fructose, D minus fructose. So D is indicating as we have discussed while discussing about D plus glucose, right? So here this D is indicating the highly oxidized group present at right side at last asymmetric center. So here there are 3 asymmetric centers are there at C3, C4 and C5. At last asymmetric center the OH group is at right side. So that's why this is D, right? And here this minus has come from the rotation of plane polarized light, that is nothing but specific rotation, right? So here this fructose is rotating plane polarized light towards leftward direction, left side direction. So that's why the specific rotation is negative, the optical rotation is negative, and that it is represented with minus, it is represented with minus. So this D is indicating about this OH group is at right side at last asymmetric center, and minus is indicating that this molecule rotates the plane polarized light towards leftward direction, that is optical rotation is negative value. So this is the open chain structure of fructose. So in the open chain structure of fructose, this is having three asymmetric carbons. One is at C3, C4 and C5. So three asymmetric carbons are present in the fructose. So the optical isomers equals to 2 to the power of n. So that is 2 to the power of 3, that is equals to 8. So 8 optical isomers are possible for the D-fructose. So this is what is the structure of open chain structure of D minus fructose. So in this we have discussed about the cyclic structure of glucose and Haworth and chair conformations of cyclic structures of glucose, and then preparation of fructose and open chain structure of fructose. Thank you.